We have a world to fight for this day. The world we knew and loved, up until only a few years ago. It was not perfect, corrupt as hell actually, and we were hardly living a quality of life, a song and dance, every second of every day of our lives. Far from it. But good God, it looked a lot more together than this building back better of this great reset. Build back better by turning our world, our morals, our habits of eating, our governments, our lives, and everything we knew previously upside down. Some have a peculiar understanding of the word better. Better, to a transgender cockroach-eating communist, is perhaps not the correct adjective for the rest of us. No offence to anyone. Live your life as you see fit. Allow the rest of us to do the same. How we all act from this moment on, individually and collectively, is incredibly important for each one of us and for our society and for our world. Our system is obviously not functioning well. In fact, it may be so sick it is entering its final death throes. There are enough signs to indicate this may be the case today, regardless of what information you accept and what information you reject this day. Something is not right. We can surely all agree on this. Something was not right before. What is not right is getting stronger, and this fracturing within our society has taken place in the position of traditional authority over our lives, those entrusted to do other than act forcefully and negatively upon our lives. It does not matter if the intention is good or bad. It is not our intention. We did not ask for our lives to be forcefully changed. And so many of us do not like at least some of the changes we are witnessing. Many of us are deeply unsettled and deeply questioning. We do not like that we may be considered mandatable to take a highly profitable experimental medication in the name of protecting the health of another. This is a new, and for so many of us, a highly alarming development in our society. Those in favour and those not alike, in both camps, a majority number agree the individual is the decider of the risk to be taken or not. Yet all over our world, our so-called representatives are looking to China, it seems, for how our future is to be structured communally, welding people into their homes to ensure governmental lockdown measures are not broken. Food seems a secondary concern. Our world is undoubtedly changing, and massive money is behind this change, the biggest of numbers. Royalty is behind this. The United Nations. The World Economic Forum is behind this. Bankers are behind this. High tech is behind this. The European Union is behind this. Celebrities, rich, billionaires, singers, so-called anyway, actors, a huge proportion of the most influential and wealthy and so able people in this world, it seems, have devised a plan. The majority of us are not included in the deliberations. This is their Great Reset. And so our world becomes divided once more, even more divided than it already were, fracturing across the no man's land of divided wealth, divided nations, divided religions, divided ideologies, all seeking their own continuity and success, which must delight the planners, because a divided world is so easy to steer, easy to manipulate, easy to confuse and conquer. I am, like all, a man of limited vision as to the exact nature of what is taking place this day, but I do like to watch, not through the words of another, which may come to colour my own vision. I like to watch directly and so clearly, and what I see is the greatest of sins any of us could ever come to horrifically imagine. a potential not too distant extermination for our race, or close to it, or the enslavement of our race into some man's dystopian Matrix or Terminator ideological series, or a cross of the two into perpetual existence. This makes my days heavier than they need be these days, and brings a sadness to my heart for my people, humanity, this divided family I belong to. I could scream at the faceless and the faces leading this spectacle today. I could scream for the rest of my life, and I have screamed, and I do scream, but deep down, I know better than this. I see the pointlessness of such limited and futile reactions. There is great talk among leaders of this world this day, who are the rich, of a planned, not too distant merger of man and machine. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, has discussed this frequently and is in the process, it seems, of developing a neural link network to buffer between artificial and human thoughts. Let's not call it artificial intelligence, shall we? A species without any intelligence cannot build intelligence-based machines. Our next evolution proposed by those who have the money and the ability to see it happen is that we ourselves become machine-like in nature. Transhumanism, this has been called. And this is being seen as an advancement of our species by those leading the way, the redesigning of the human being, the ending of the Homo sapien. These people talk of this as an actuality, and they have the power, the will, the technology, the finance, and the limited intelligence to make it happen. I want to stop them. I so want to stop them. Not in violence, not in any way attacking these people. I wish in my heart of hearts they could see clearly enough themselves that they would stop themselves. If they saw clearly, beyond their projected imaginings and desires, stop, that they might someday catch a glimpse of the value of the lives of the race of people they were born into, the same value as their own. But that is not likely to happen. And so I talk. I wish no one any harm, rich, poor, stood upon, or standing upon, king or pauper. In this man's eyes are rather meaningless symbols. I see value in the human life beyond such symbols of measurement, and this is the same quality of life for each and every one of us. I cast no stones, and I seek no day of judgment. I see we are all guilty, and we are all of us innocent. We are all caught in a great many illusions, needlessly and dangerously. None of us are living today as life intended. All of us have been deeply limited in our thinking, and so in our daily actions. Our actions follow our thinking. Limited by a persuasive and brainwashing system of education in which we all participated to the tune of at least 12 years of our young developing lives. Are you a Christian or a Muslim, a Jew or a Hindu, a Buddhist, a communist, an Arab, a Democrat, a Republican, or other? This information was educated into you. You have not found the meaning of religion in your life for yourself. It has been provided for you. Do you feel patriotic to the country you were born into? This has also been educated into you. Do you care nothing for those not party to your highbrow-born class? This destructive, human-patterned approach to life was educated into you. Do you spend your days and nights in constant repetitive thinking? Rich or poor, black or white, Jew or Arab, Muslim or Christian? This was educated into you. And we all do. So why do we live so dividedly when we are all so transparently the very same? And why do we never ask such questions? Our thinking is not a correct approach to life. I want to repeat this. Our thinking is not a correct approach to life. How many listening to this understand the true nature of thinking? Don't repeat what you might have heard another say. Don't tell me what you read in a book. For yourself, what have you understood about the true nature of this incessant inner psychological movement of thinking, from which follows our every divisive life action? Where does thinking come from? Is there truly a separated thinker? Why can thought never stop? Why does the brain create fear and other negative states of mind? Is our ever-accompanying disharmony in life related in any way at all to our inner psychological, educated, conceptual minds, which live within an isolated psychological state and live within conflict within themselves and outwardly with another? And if you see a bus coming towards you, you act, and your action is complete and maybe life-saving. I see a massive bus coming towards so many of us. Many of us must see the same. And I see we need to act responsibly and appropriately. And I see that action will take place if we can see the danger. As the action takes place without thought, in the case of removing oneself from the path of an oncoming bus, the action must be right and natural, appropriate, meeting the challenge well, and certainly not reactive, not violent, not divisive anymore. There's too much of this hellfire nature already in our world, without adding any more to an already overboiling pot. Thinking is memory, and memory is limited in nature to what I have previously experienced. When we live allowing thought to take charge, direct and plan out our course for life, we are allowing our limited past recorded experiences to take charge of our living and creative and life-giving and bountiful present. Does this sound like an exaggeration? It is not. God, if I could turn your head to look at where you stand this very instant, in this very moment of time, with a quiet mind, you would fall to your knees weeping in shock and horror at how you have been living all of your life. But a crack never appears in the walls of our conditioned thinking. Our programming is almost complete. I don't know why we so emphatically seek to merge man and machine this day. For mankind this day is living like a machine already. Can you stop thinking? No. This is the nature of the mechanical. It continues, repeating the same, day and night, bringing us all communally closer to our graves. Memory is gathered knowledge from limited past experiences. Thought is limited in what it can think about to what it has previously experienced in life. We act in favour of that which we know, and we act from that which we know, projecting further and moving again towards that which we have known. And so we care for our own. Our own are those we have known in the past. We form alliances and allegiances and clubs and secret society and agencies and religions and nations and wealth divides, and we act on our past, which is within our own limited circle. And so we project the continuity of it all into a perpetually never-ending future of battle, divided from every other soul doing the same thing exactly, but from a differing thought base, arising from differing past remembered experiences. We can never anymore meet in relationship. What king or queen ever comes for tea with your grandparents? And so, living within this inner limitation of a repetitive interest in only what I have previously experienced, limited self-seeking, keeps us all divided, one from another. we can never meet, for we are each of us seeking the continuity of what we previously have been. We divide in life this way, and division in life is the cause of conflict and all corruption. Our dividing point is our thinking, because we are acting on memories of what came before, valuing the continuity of this movement above all else. We value the continuity of our past more than we value the life of any other human being. There seems little to gain in questioning why this tragedy has happened. Our education has had sinister, strong contributory undertones to this. But we also seem to have always lived this way, seeking the continuity and security of one group against another, based on past relationship connections, acting on our memories, which is our thinking, which keeps the same divisions between us on fire as an ever-present accompaniment to our lives through the corridors of all recorded human history. All bloody, war-torn, sorrow-filled, divisive, recorded human history. If you see this, you will act, not see the words, but see the truth which the words point to, which is another thing entirely, like you jump from the path of an oncoming bus. Our thinking is an approach to life educated into us by our society. Born in Israel, to be an Israeli and a Jew. Born in Palestine, to be a Palestinian, an Arab and a Muslim. All educated, conceptual, historically handed down principles. And from such divisive educated limitations, accepted in childhood, remembered and continuously acted upon in activities which divide our people, we live, battle, conflict, and inevitably come to brutal, bloody war. Our thinking rests on a background of limited and segregated divisive social principles, which have been perpetuated and passed down over thousands of years, handed down from father to son, mother to daughter, offering a psychological security, historical, in a divided historical identity, destroying all actual physical security for mankind as a whole. No one is to blame. This is a historical pattern, a learned approach to life, a movement of finding security where there is none to be found, in divisive historical patterns, divisive historical, handed down and accepted human knowledge. Living dividedly as we do, tribally, which we must because we do not see humanity as our tribe, we find security in seeking continuity in divisions, which we call our progress, which is the continuity of what we have always been, a divisive competitive race to beat another tribe and to come to dominate and lord over the lives of who we see as others. This is our present and historical approach to life. We have invented rockets and atomic weapons. We seek to travel to Mars and beyond. It never occurs to us to seek to journey beyond these historical, ideological, educated divisions which have repeatedly brought our lives to suffering and pain. Each of us finding security continuing in different ideological directions. And these ideologies, which we carry in our educated thinking, as long as we live, think, and act and move from the basis of differing remembered pasts, we relate on the basis of a ground of historical divisions which have never known peace. And so the continuity we seek leads us to repetitive wars and the incessant inhumanity of man against man. There is deep relationship between our patterned habitual thinking and the fact we always end up in bloody war, each aiming for differing things, for a differing benefit of a perceived limited group, and life becomes a battle for us all, ruled over by an iron club. Dictators arise to enforce an order which is only a greater disorder. Order is not to be forced. True order is natural to life. This universe functions in complete order. Does grass need forced to grow? Do birds in trees need whipped to sing? Do bees require to be manipulated into seeking success to harvest the pollen from the fruits and flowers our lives so depend upon? There is order also in the observed disorder of humanity. We need study this disorder to free ourselves from its limitations, not seek to bring order in our divided and conflict-causing state, which can only end in the absolute disorder of dictatorship, which is where our world today is headed. Look to China this day for confirmation of this disorder of dictatorship. When one man has decided on the life direction of 1.5 billion people, where is the freedom to live and to breathe to be found? A nation of cameras and robotic dogs on streets telling people what they need think and do is not a symbol of an orderly society. There is no order to come out of chaos, only a continuity of further chaos. For mankind is one species. We all think we are one divisive movement. What we do to our brothers and sisters, we do to ourselves. For we are all of us humanity. Names, beliefs, ideologies, histories, dogmas, traditions, nationalities, politics, wealth, social and class position, all these divide us. But in life, behind all of this remembered inconsequentiality, all of us sit on the same limited ground of human thinking, human knowledge, past learned and remembered experiences. None of us is of any greater importance than any other, outwith of societal illusions which paint it to be so. Study the absolute disorder of this world and study the absolute disorder present within our inner world in thinking. These two movements may be closely related. They may, in effect, be only one movement. One shapes the other, and vice versa. The interesting question is this: can the human mind undergo a change? As human society arises from the thinking minds of human beings, this is the very same question as can our society undergo a change, a real change, for the benefit of all people, no more only for the benefit of a few deeply self-interested at the expense of all others. Can we cease to continue our divisive pasts? Can we see the danger living in divisions in every area of our lives has brought to this world? When a few of us have everything, is there order? Is there order in a world of 36 trillion in tax havens and 6 million children annually dying from starvation? When appetites can never be satiated and money has become more favourable than a child's life, the heavens cry in the vision that mankind grows older and yet still moves in the opposing direction of the wise. When you were in school, you were educated into a laid-down, devised framework of human consciousness, into an educated mind of conceptual concentration, accepted divisive ideologies. Our mind this day is caught in the same learned approach. Thinking is a concentrated life focused upon and within memories. Life is outside of this. Life is not a memory. The past to life is dead and over. We find security in keeping our pasts alive, and we live within these inner worlds, our remembered past experiences. Our minds are always busy, never quiet, always occupied. Such a mind does not truly see anything. To see, one must be silent. Otherwise, there is a distraction to the senses, and this distraction distorts what is being seen. Obviously, this distraction is our inner thinking, emotions, plans, desires, pleasures, fears, depressions, worries, desires, all of which we carry in our backpacks of educated memories every day of our lives. We are never free to look at life. We lose such capacity once school is finished with us. If we could find this child's mind again, this mind before our minds were corrupted by language and historical allegiances to long-standing divisive patterns of behaviour, if this is even possible, to look at life without past, remembered, educated principles guiding what we see, to look at life without thought, even for a few seconds, our world would change. Because what we would have seen, even in those few seconds of freedom from what we know, is this. We would have seen an understanding of the actuality of our lives, beyond what we think about them, which is also what we think about others, and beyond all self-interest. We would have seen what life actually is, void of projected thought, arising from long-standing educated principles, accepted beliefs, dogmas, and traditional approaches to life. In silence, removed from our educated divisions, removed from our inner chatter prejudicing and colouring and biasing our lives, we see what life truly is. And here we meet love in our lives, because love is a component of creation. There is no creation in dead memories, which is the past, which is thinking. And so no love exists within human consciousness as it stands this day. Creation only ever did have any affinity to now. The present moment is the ground of creation to this universe. The past is over, and the future has yet to arrive. Our minds so need to find silence that the remembered continuity of what divides us may end. Is such a thing possible? How would you find out? There is a bus fast approaching, and we need to see exactly what it means to jump. We need to come to see. We need to stop thinking about what to do. For our thinking is divisive in nature between us, and so acts in limitation. Our actions from our thinking are what have almost destroyed our world today. The Great Reset is such a movement of human self-interest, and so is a conflict-bringing activity. Look to the world for verification. Understand the problem. Find the order in the disorder. Is there a thinker separate from thought? What happens to the thinker if thought disappears? How does this universe and humanity's relationship between each other undergo a change when thought has ended? What is the nature of such a change? If I said this was the dawning of a love and the awakening of the human heart to a movement into a natural revolution, bringing order and sanity to our lives, would it stimulate you to seek to understand your own mind? How do you know I am not an insane man who can paint pretty pictures with words, or not, as the case may be, in your divided perception? You must find out. Must you not find out? Or shall another tell you what your life is all about? This is what we are used to. This is what has led us here. And this is what is seeking a great reset. I say a heaven stands in front of every man's eyes this very day and every day, which if we could meet would revolutionize our lives and our society in ways we could never even imagine. Life has nothing to do with imagining. This is the stuff of thought and great resets, not throwing stones, stating facts. When divisions between us arise, as the Great Reset has arisen, from the division of wealth in this world, we seek to dominate those we have divided against. We have no interest in their lives, for we have no experiences of their lives, and so no thoughts can arise to even consider their lives? How do we bring deep meaning to every man's life and an ending to all of our hatreds and hostilities? We surely need to put down what divides us. Please look. It is your thinking. It is our thinking. It is the lack of our ability to love and care for one another which carrying ideas about ourselves and about other human beings brings. None of us are to blame. All any of us ever has sought is security. We were led up the garden path, all of us, as to where security may be found in life. Security is surely not found in any imaginary, projected, desired, thought-out, planned future. Our futures arise from our limited ideologies from our pasts. And so this movement of making better, so divisive between us, and so another cause for human conflict, can be no reset at all. This is a continuity of the war-causing approach to life we have always lived under. No kidding. Our relationships are not found in a future utopia, not found in divisive movements seeking to dominate the lives of others for my own benefits. Security never finds a mind or a group of minds ever treading the mundane repetition of words, images, fears, and desires. True security in life is surely only ever available to a completely silent mind. We find security not in becoming. We find security in being nothing. Becoming sees us living for the future, for an idea, for a concept, and so our lives become ideological and conceptual. All relationship is here and now. We need not take one step forwards to meet the most important ground we can ever meet in anyone's life. If we do, if we take a step forward, we lose the most valuable, as we have lost the most valuable. We have found no security living within divisive, continuous, self-interested, isolated, egotistical patterns of growth, seeking to continue and become more in a conceptual sense of time. A sense of true religion may come into our lives, because true religion is to meet and stand on the actual ground of life, not on a ground of accepted, educated, inner psychological concepts. This is our awakening time, or this is a hell for humanity beyond all of our memories. And there is enough hell there. Our past is a hell, and so unless we stop its progression into a conceptual future, which is the continuity of our educated, divisive pattern thinking, our shared predicament shall only worsen. The wind is picking up. Storm clouds are gathering. Put your ear to the ground with me and listen quietly to the true source of all of mankind's troubles. Listen to yourself.